Hello my brothers and sisters of the Order, welcome back to the Order. I am Celtic Templar, and yes, welcome back to another Independence Month, and yes, we are going to be talking about what was the American idea behind the American Revolution, or in this case, what led to the idealism of the American Revolution, and what was the cause, and what were the main purpose. Now, whenever I hear this story tale from the sides of party systems, yes, this is where it's going to get really messed up, is the fact when we take a listen to the Democrat side or the far left, they start to say it was because of slavery. In fact, America was trying to keep slavery when Britain was trying to get rid of it. That was the whole purpose of the war. No, that is actually it is incredibly flawed, down the line. There's no proof of it, which makes no damn sense. And as well, the American public on the right side, or in this case the Republican side, actually entirely states it was because of independence. It was wanting its independence from Great Britain. Not entirely at this point in time. In fact, during the early years of the American Revolution, the ideal that would become a new nation wasn't exactly on their bucket list. In fact, America didn't exactly want to actually separate from Great Britain. In fact, the majority were actually follow loyalists, who of which actually did not want to separate. In fact, Sam Adams was actually one of these famous loyalists who even stated the following, that in which we as ourselves cannot actually separate from Great Britain in any form and time, and in such we must together stay to which we must held to. Or in this case, we can easily say that the following, that Sam Adams even also supported some of the said, British regulators who accidentally opened fire on a group of innocent civilians in the Boston Massacre. And in such, he even stated that they were just trying to protect themselves. So, yeah, it's confusing, I know. But the major thing we ought to understand is the idealism behind it was not independence nor slavery, but was no taxation without representation. And this was an old saying that, to pay taxes without, having any say in the government. Meaning these people in the United States colonies, or in the American colonies as we put it, didn't have any say in the government. In fact, the British government did not actually have a voice for them in the British Parliament. And in such, this was the major reason why the Americans were fighting for it. Now, there is a major controversy about why or the United States was forced to believe like this. Well, that was actually probably because of the, 7 Years' War, or the, as we all know it in America, as the French and Indian War. And the thing is, it didn't exactly go so well. In fact, the British kind of was putting it on the American public that it was their fault that the war began, so they are going to have to take care of this by paying heavy taxation. So, it's weird, I know, but that's how it is. So, yeah. But the thing is, America wasn't wanting this. In fact, many British government systems in Parliament were kind of against it, and even wanting to, allow America or the 13 colonies to have their own say in the government. Which is kind of saying something, seeing as though that Native Americans somehow had a say in the British government, but yet the 13 colonies didn't. Which, I find that a little hilarious to think about it that being form and such. But in fact, it's also stated that upon the other forms in which they were also fighting for was the following, that the right to assembly, the freedom of speech, as well a trial by jury, and as well taxation by their own type of form of representation, meaning their own type of representation, all form in government, actually is taxated throughout the entire colonies. It's kind of like how we would view Canada today when it was actually still part of Great Britain. And in fact, another major one that of which every American knows about, Second Amendment itself, the right to bear arms against any form of tyrannical government and dictatorship. Now, entirely though, during this point in time in history, we all need to know this. Now, there are many of these idiots out here that all say that firearms are bad and the Second Amendment should be eradicated. And here's the thing, that Second Amendment was made by our forefathers for a reason. And in fact, that was made to the fact to right to bear arms against a corrupt government, which I still hold to this day. And as well, pretty much every Texan here in Texas does, actually, a lot more than most Americans do. But getting back to topic, the idealism of this idea was to uphold these type of ideas. The thing is, though, it started to change sometime by the next year in January of 1776, during the year in which the Common Sense was first published by Thomas Paine. And in such, it's even stated that this later on enforced the idea that America should become its own nation and they should fight for their independence. Now, I want to put this out here. Thomas Paine was kind of one of you might call a radicalistic independence movement guy. He did not like the British government that much. And in fact, his idealism of common sense would later on inspire none other than the Declaration of Independence, written by none other than Thomas Jefferson himself, which took parts of many forms of documents, especially Magna Carta, that was written in none other than Great Britain by the Lord of Barons, that the king should not have any full power, but as which the people should. And as well, it's even stated that even other than Thomas Jefferson would have even copied from other ideas, that of which were all found in the idealism of the American community. And in fact, the following was actually also added to the amendments, that of which we would later have, such as the right to bear arms, as well the trial by jury, and as well taxation by their own rights and the government, freedom of speech, and so on, that of which we have today. So you gotta admit, y'all, the American Revolution was not entirely about independence, nor was it about anything else. It was actually about their own rights as American people, meaning that the colonies should have the rights as any other man, woman, and child in any parts of the other empire. Now, if you understand this entirely, we gotta understand that the British kind of didn't exactly care. They were trying to run their government, I understand. However, Britain kind of did this to themselves by trying to teach America a lesson that of which wasn't exactly their fault in the first place. In fact, the war was going to happen no matter what actually people will ever say about it. But I think that'll be something for another time. But if any of y'all have any ideas for the American Revolution, please let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe for more. As well, y'all, as I stated, let me know in the comments below if you have any ideas on what I should cover next for the American Revolution. As well, check us out on Facebook so that way you can see more. Anyways, guys, I've been Templar. Have a great day.